Swig. Out of 10.
I mean, I've never been to a place like this before, so...
It's its own category. Yeah. 10 out of 10!
Caitlin Clark's European holiday might not just be a break from basketball. It could be the start of something much bigger. While she's publicly mentioned that her trip is all about relaxation, rumors are buzzing that Clark might be using this time to explore deals with top European teams. Could this vacation turn into a permanent move overseas? Although nothing is confirmed, speculation is mounting that Europe's top basketball leagues could be trying to lure Clark away from the WNBA. Let's dig into the details and see if Caitlin Clark's European getaway hints at something bigger. After an incredible rookie season in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark has taken a much-needed break, choosing to spend her time in Europe. On the surface, it looks like a leisurely holiday filled with sightseeing and golf. Clark even joked about becoming a pro golfer during the off-season.
I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do the next day. So maybe play some golf. I think that's what I'm going to do until it gets too cold in Indiana. So I got that. I'll become a professional golfer.
But behind the scenes, whispers are growing louder that she may be in talks with European basketball clubs during her trip. Clark's passion for golf is no secret, and she's made it clear that basketball isn't her focus for now. However, with the financial advantages and better playing conditions offered by European leagues, it's no surprise that people are speculating about a possible move overseas. European basketball is known for its finesse and less physical style, which many believe is a better match for Clark's game than the tough physical play of the WNBA. Add in the fact that European clubs offer much higher salaries than the WNBA, and the rumors start to seem more believable. Though Caitlin Clark has publicly denied playing in Europe this offseason, the timing of her trip has raised some eyebrows. Is she quietly exploring her options, meeting with top European teams while supposedly on vacation? The speculation is spreading, with fans and analysts alike wondering if Clark is considering a move that could shake up the basketball world. There's no denying that European leagues offer much more money than the WNBA. For a star like Clark, already one of the most marketable players in women's basketball, the temptation of a bigger paycheck could be tough to pass up. Spain, Italy, and France have some of the most competitive basketball leagues, offering top-tier contracts, and Clark's shooting and finesse make her a perfect fit for the European style of play. If Clark were to take the leap, she'd be joining other WNBA players who've gone overseas for financial reasons, including some of the biggest names in the sport. The combination of a financial boost and the opportunity to dominate in a league that plays to her strengths could be enough to keep Clark in Europe for more than just a holiday. While Clark insists she's just enjoying her time off, many are starting to wonder if her trip to Europe is more than just sightseeing. Athletes have used vacations as a cover for negotiations before. If Clark is in talks with European clubs, it makes sense to do it quietly, especially before any decisions are finalized. Could she be testing the waters, evaluating offers before making a major move? European teams, especially in Spain's Liga Femenina or Italy's Serie A, would no doubt jump at the chance to sign a talent like Clark. Clubs like Real Madrid or Virtus Bologna could offer her the chance to shine on a global stage, along with financial security that the WNBA simply can't match. With new leagues like the Breanna Stewart-backed Unrivaled League on the rise, Clark has even more options beyond the WNBA that could elevate her career. Now the question is whether Clark will stick with the WNBA or explore the lucrative opportunities abroad. She's been a standout in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, breaking records and drawing massive crowds. But with the WNBA's physical demands and lower salaries, some are questioning if it's the right fit for Clark's game. European basketball not only offers higher pay, but also a playing style that seems perfectly suited to Clark's strengths: finesse, shooting, and playmaking. If she decides to stay in Europe, she could expand her global brand while avoiding the physical toll that comes with the WNBA's intense play. And don't forget the timing of this trip. Clark is at the height of her career, with countless opportunities ahead of her. Moving to Europe wouldn't just make sense financially, it could cement her as a global basketball icon. As the WNBA faces growing competition from overseas leagues, could Clark be the next star to make the jump? It's not unusual for top athletes to keep their next moves under wraps until everything is set. Caitlin Clark has played it cool, talking about golf and relaxation, but the truth is she holds all the power. If European clubs are making offers during her so-called holiday, she's in the perfect spot to make a bold move. And if she does leave the WNBA, it could send shockwaves through the league. Picture the headlines. Caitlin Clark leaves WNBA for Europe. It would be a seismic shift, not just for Clark, but for the entire league. The WNBA has heavily promoted her as one of the future faces of the sport. But if Europe offers bigger paychecks and a more fitting playing style, could the WNBA really afford to lose its brightest star? Caitlin Clark's European holiday might just be the beginning of a massive career change. With rumors swirling about potential talks with European teams, fans are left wondering, is Clark about to make a move that could change the future of women's basketball? Stay tuned, because whatever happens next, it's bound to shake things up in a big way for Caitlin Clark in the basketball world.
Because no one cared about your league before Caitlin Clark. There were no opposing fans. You barely had home fans. And so no one cared. A couple 300,000 people were watching your games before Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA is facing a crisis, and the numbers don't lie. Ratings have plummeted since Caitlin Clark was eliminated from the playoffs. With Clark no longer on the court, the league's fleeting surge in popularity has disappeared almost overnight. So what does this mean for the future of the WNBA? Is it doomed without her? Let's break down why Caitlin Clark was the league's lifeline, how the WNBA is spiraling in her absence, and whether it can survive without its biggest star. It's no secret that Caitlin Clark has been the WNBA's golden ticket. Her arrival in the league brought a wave of excitement the WNBA desperately needed. Let's talk numbers. Viewership skyrocketed when Clark played, and home attendance for the Indiana Fever hit record highs. Fans weren't just tuning in, they were investing in Clark. The fever pitch, no pun intended, surrounding her, was unlike anything the WNBA had ever seen. But now with Clark out of the playoffs, that surge in interest has collapsed. Ratings are down, stadiums are quieter, and the league's grip on the mainstream audience is slipping fast. Without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's marketability is crumbling. For years, the WNBA has struggled to break through the noise and capture the attention of the average sports fan. Sure, there are talented players across the league, but let's be honest, none of them have generated the kind of buzz Clark did in just her rookie season. The moment she was eliminated, it became clear just how much the league was relying on her to pull in viewers and pack arenas. The ratings nosedive is a direct reflection of how vital Clark was to the league's brief success. The WNBA has been in this position before. For years, it's tried to build a sustainable fan base, but struggled to keep audiences engaged. And then Caitlin Clark came along, and for a moment, it seemed like the WNBA had found its savior. But now, without her in the playoffs, we're back to square one. The excitement is gone, and the league is quickly losing the attention it so desperately needs. Can the WNBA survive without her? Based on the instant ratings crash, it doesn't look promising. Here's where things get even more dramatic. There's a real disconnect between the WNBA community and the broader audience that Clark brought in. Sheryl Swoopes and other insiders within the league have downplayed Clark's impact, almost as if they don't want to acknowledge that she's been carrying the league's popularity on her back. It's a strange and troubling situation. While fans and media are hailing Clark as the future of the WNBA, some within the league seem hesitant to embrace her stardom. Could it be jealousy? Fear of the new generation overshadowing the veterans? Whatever it is, it's becoming clear that not everyone in the WNBA is on board with Caitlin Clark being the face of the league. But here's where things take an even darker turn. What if the WNBA is sabotaging itself by not fully embracing Clark's star power? By refusing to recognize her influence and rally behind her, the league is missing a crucial opportunity to sustain its growth. Instead, they're allowing internal politics and egos to get in the way of what could be the WNBA's big break into mainstream sports. This disconnect between the league's leadership and its fans could be the very thing that sends the WNBA into a deeper decline. And let's not forget the controversies surrounding Caitlin Clark and how they've been handled. From accusations against her fans to the league's mishandling of incidents involving Clark and other players, it's clear that the WNBA's management is struggling to keep up. There's been talk that Clark's fans have been unfairly labeled and targeted, painting them as part of the problem rather than embracing the massive audience she's brought in. The WNBA's leadership seems to be more focused on playing politics than on supporting the player who's bringing them the most attention. This mismanagement has hurt the league's image and could be turning off the very fans who were ready to rally behind Clark and the WNBA. Now let's speculate a bit further. What happens to the WNBA if Caitlin Clark doesn't come back next season? Or worse, if she decides to go overseas to play in Europe? We've already seen the effects of her elimination from the playoffs. Without her, ratings are crashing and the excitement around the league is fading. If Clark were to leave the WNBA entirely, it could spell disaster for a league that's already struggling to keep its head above water. The WNBA has always had difficulty competing with the major men's sports leagues, and without a superstar like Clark to draw in casual fans, the league could fall back into obscurity. The financial implications are staggering. Less viewership means less revenue, fewer sponsorships, and decreased ad sales. With Caitlin Clark off the court, the WNBA is losing its biggest selling point. Major brands are far less likely to invest in a league that's failing to keep fans engaged. And let's be real, if Clark's not playing, those fans aren't showing up. It's a simple equation. No Clark, no fans, no money. The WNBA's fragile financial health is teetering, and without her, it could collapse. What's worse is that this isn't just a short-term problem. Caitlin Clark isn't just a great player. She's a cultural phenomenon. She brought a fresh energy to the WNBA that was appealing to both die-hard sports fans and casual viewers alike. Her absence leaves a gaping hole that no other player seems ready to fill. The league's long-term growth was hinging on her continued dominance. But now that she's out, the WNBA is being exposed for its inability to attract and retain a broader audience without a superstar like Clark leading the charge. So what's next? Does the WNBA face another season of declining ratings, empty arenas, and a diminishing fan base if Caitlin Clark doesn't return to the spotlight? It's looking that way. Without her, the league risks fading into irrelevance, becoming nothing more than a niche interest for a small group of dedicated fans. The WNBA's moment in the sun was brief, and now, without its brightest star, it could be heading back into the shadows. The WNBA is at a crossroads. With Caitlin Clark eliminated, the league is already seeing a dramatic decline in ratings and fan engagement. Can the WNBA recover without its biggest star, or is this the beginning of the end? If Caitlin Clark doesn't return, will the league survive? The stakes couldn't be higher, and only time will tell if the WNBA can find a way out of this disaster. Stay tuned, because the future of the WNBA could depend on Caitlin Clark's next move.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark's holiday in Europe might be more than just a break from basketball. It could be the beginning of something much bigger. While she's publicly said her trip is all about rest and relaxation, rumors are swirling that Clark may be using this time to explore potential deals with European clubs. Could this so-called vacation turn into a permanent move overseas? Though nothing has been confirmed, speculation is growing that Europe's top leagues might be trying to lure Clark away from the WNBA. Let's dive into the details and explore whether Caitlin Clark's European getaway is a sign of things to come. Caitlin Clark has taken a well-deserved break after a record-breaking rookie season in the WNBA, and she's chosen to spend her time off in Europe. On the surface, it looks like a relaxing holiday filled with sightseeing and golf. Clark has even joked about becoming a professional golfer during the off-season.
I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do the next day. So maybe play some golf. I think that's what I'm going to do until it gets too cold in Indiana. So I got that. I'll become a professional golfer.
But behind the scenes, whispers are growing that Clark may be in discussions with European basketball clubs during her trip. Clark has been vocal about her love for golf, and she's made it clear that she's taking a break from basketball for now.
It's going to be nice, though, I think, getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do and, not have to
sitting. I love talking to all of you, but it's gonna be nice to not have to sit in front of a microphone, multiple times a week. I really appreciate all of you, but it will be nice to kind of get away and relax for a little bit. And I appreciate everything you all do as well, so I thank you.
However, with the financial incentives and more favorable playing conditions that European leagues offer, it's no wonder people are speculating about a potential move overseas. European basketball is known for its more finesse-focused, less physical style, which many believe suits Clark's game far better than the rough-and-tumble WNBA. Add to that the fact that European clubs offer significantly higher salaries than the WNBA, and the rumors start to sound more plausible. Although Caitlin Clark has publicly stated she won't be playing in Europe this offseason, the timing of her trip has raised eyebrows. Could she be quietly exploring her options, meeting with top European teams while she's on vacation? The speculation is already swirling, with some fans and analysts wondering if Clark is considering a move that could shake up the basketball world. There's no denying that European leagues pay more than the WNBA. For a star like Clark, who is already one of the most marketable players in women's basketball, the allure of a more substantial paycheck could be hard to resist. Spain, Italy, and France are just a few countries with competitive basketball leagues that offer top-tier contracts, and Clark's shooting skills and finesse could make her a perfect fit for the European game. If Clark were to make the jump, she'd join the ranks of WNBA players who have gone overseas for financial reasons, including some of the biggest names in the sport. The financial boost, combined with the opportunity to dominate in a league that plays to her strengths, could be enough to convince Clark to stay in Europe longer than just a holiday. While Clark's official stance is that she's just enjoying her time off, many can't help but wonder if her trip to Europe is more than just sightseeing. It wouldn't be the first time an athlete used a vacation as a cover for negotiations. If Clark is in talks with European clubs, it would make perfect sense to do so quietly, especially before any official decisions are made. Could she be testing the waters, seeing what offers are on the table before making a major announcement? European teams, particularly in Spain's Liga Femenina or Italy's Serie A, would undoubtedly be eager to sign a talent like Clark. Clubs like Real Madrid or Virtus Bologna could offer her a platform to shine on a global stage while also providing her with financial security that the WNBA can't currently match. And with the rise of new leagues like the Breanna Stewart-backed Unrivaled League, Clark has options beyond the WNBA that could elevate her career to new heights. The big question now is whether Clark will stick with the WNBA or explore the lucrative opportunities abroad. She's been a dominant force in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever, setting records and drawing massive crowds. But the WNBA's physicality and lower salaries have left some wondering if it's the right environment for a player like Clark. European basketball offers not just higher pay, but a style of play that seems tailor-made for Clark's strengths: finesse, shooting, and playmaking. If she chooses to stay in Europe, she could build her global brand while avoiding the wear and tear that comes with the WNBA's grueling physicality. And let's not forget the timing of this trip. Clark is at the peak of her career, with endless options in front of her. A move to Europe wouldn't just be a smart financial decision. It could cement her status as a global basketball star. As the WNBA faces increased competition from overseas leagues, could Clark be the next big name to make the jump? It's not uncommon for top athletes to keep their next moves under wraps until everything is finalized. Caitlin Clark has played it cool, talking about golf and relaxation. But the reality is that she holds all the cards. If European clubs are making offers during her so-called holiday, she's in the perfect position to make a power move. And if she does decide to leave the WNBA, it could send shockwaves through the league. Imagine the headlines. Caitlin Clark leaves the WNBA for Europe. It would be a massive shift, not just for Clark, but for the league as a whole. The WNBA has been heavily promoting her as one of the faces of the future. But if Europe comes calling with bigger paychecks and a more suitable playing style, could the WNBA risk losing its brightest star? Caitlin Clark's European holiday might be more than just a break from basketball. It could be the beginning of a major career shift, with rumors swirling about potential negotiations with European clubs. Fans are left wondering, is Clark on the verge of making a move that could change the landscape of women's basketball forever? Stay tuned, because whatever happens next, it's sure to be a game changer for Caitlin Clark and the basketball world.